Hello everyone, I'm going to tell you who killed who in Scream 4. Well, let's find out. We're not going to be talking about the ones in the Stab movies, because we don't really know the killer. But yes, let's get started with Marnie Cooper. So, the killer was Charlie Walker. The proof is that both Ghostfaces were here because Charlie shows footage of Marnie being stabbed by Ghostface. Someone holds the camera, although he is the one who showed the footage, implying he was the recorder. He was recorded the first kill first fits Charlie's MO more, which is multiple stabbings, which Jill usually stabs once, except in Jenny and Charlie's deaths. Now, who called Jenny? Well, it was Charlie Walker, because this is probably Charlie, while Jill gets Marnie's corpse ready for Jenny to see. Now, Jenny's murder, that was Jill Roberts, because Jill comes inside the house from a window and kills Jenny. Jill's voice can be heard after she falls to stab Jenny and looks back. Now, Jill and Olivia's phone calls. That was Charlie Walker, and because Jill and Olivia both get phone calls from the killer, obviously Jill can't call herself. That one was quite obvious. Next is Sydney's car vandalism, and it was both Jill and Charlie, because Jill was at home, and then with Kirby and Olivia, Charlie's whereabouts were unknown, and he also used the Ghostface identity earlier to call Jill. Now, Jill's phone call and Olivia's murder, kinda obvious. It was Charlie Walker, because both acts are committed by Charlie Walker, as we see Jill being a victim of harassment and witnessing her friend's murder. Charlie later admits that he killed her. Yes, sir. Just saying, this is actually quite quick. Because I think that the other three were just too long, so I'm just doing it short. Anyway, where was I? So now on Sydney's phone call, it was Jill Roberts, because Jill watched Sydney run to Olivia's house. The killer's call was meant for Sydney, and it was very personal, so that's why I guess it was Jill. Immediately after the killer hung up, we also hear Jill calling for her as she enters the house. Also, if Charlie, the killer in the costume in the house, was a caller, Sydney would have heard him in the other room. Now, Sydney's attack was from Charlie Walker. Again, kind of obvious, because Sydney, a veteran survivor, with fighting skills, attacks serial killer Charlie Walker in a way that fits Charlie's provoking skills as a new and untrained killer. Jill is clearly the superior killer out of these two. Now, Rebecca Walters' murder was from Jill Roberts, because Charlie was with Robbie outside the hospital when the attack occurred. Now, Gail's attack, and this was Charlie Walker, because Jill was at home and Charlie was the only killer present at the Stabathon, although some suspected Jill because she mentions their matching wounds on their shoulder. But Charlie could have just told Jill about it. Now, Hoss and Perkins' murder was from Jill Roberts, because their murders took place outside Jill's house while Charlie was with Robbie at the Stabathon. Then Sydney's phone call too was Jill Roberts, because it was very personal. Yeah, it was, both of them were very personal with Sydney's phone calls. And then we go to Kate Roberts' murder, which was Jill Roberts. Her murder took place outside Jill's house while Charlie was with Robbie at Stabathon. Can't believe that Jill just killed her mother. Man, that is messed up. Next is Robbie's murder, and that was Charlie Walker, because he admits it. He admits this. Charlie walks away immediately before the scene. Then Trevor's kidnapping was obviously Jill Roberts, because Trevor walks off to find Jill upstairs. Jill attacks him off screen. Now, Jill, Sydney, and Kirby's attack. That was obviously Charlie Walker, because who else? Both killers are present at only one plan, the victim, and the other is attacking in the costume. Now, Charlie's attack and Kirby's phone call was Jill Roberts, because once again, who else? Both killers are present as one is playing victim and the other is attacking in costume. Now Kirby's attack, well, we can see that it was Charlie Walker. Then Trevor's murder, as we can see that Jill killed him. Then Charlie's murder, Jill killed him because we can see it. Then Sydney's stabbing was Jill Roberts because we can see it. And Jill beating herself was on. Well, it was her. Then Sydney, Dewey, Gale, and Hank's hospital attack, and that was Jill Roberts because we saw on screen that Jill's death, and it was Sydney Prescott because we saw it. Very short. I know it was very short. I just want to make it very short. I'd get over and done with these who killed who and Scream. But another Scream video coming out today. My Scream 1996 characters ranked. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this Who Killed Who in Scream 4. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Take care. Peace.